remember to intro myself like that before, but here you are. We're all in this together, guys. It's all good. So the theme is kind of like heroes and villains, and I think the true heroes and villains of St. John's are all one group. Skeets. And it's true. Sometimes they're their own heroes, sometimes they're everyone's villain, right? But like, I think that the Skeets have really run amok in St. John's lately. Like, there's too much going on. There's way too much going on. Did you see the news story not that long ago? There was the woman who had previously had her picture put out for a suspect in a robbery. She went ballistic about it. She's like, I want my picture removed. I was cleared. And then 2 weeks later, she got arrested for stealing. And this is just the news. This is not a joke. This is just the news, you know? So, but that's what happens here. But there's so many different levels of skeet too. Like I was in line at Tim Hortons not that long ago, and I saw Mrs. in front of me, like the coldest day we'd had here in forever, and she was wearing Daisy Dukes. You can figure out which mall I was in. And I was like, okay, so like her arse is hanging out of her shorts, that's fine. I mean, we're all looking at butts here tonight, aren't we? You know? Butts are okay. But what caught my eye was that she had a tattoo directly underneath each arse cheek. I had to get in for a better look. You can't let that pass you by. So I get right in there and I'm like, okay, like I want booty under one cheek and licious under the other, you know? Tattoos are supposed to mean something. Tell me about you, maybe trouble and maker. No. No. What my eyes feasted upon in the finest of skeet script was Mom and Dad. I was like, don't you tell me your father knows you exist. I know the difference. Survey says, you know. But, and then like, I'm hardly ever downtown anymore, right? Like, but I mean, I love coming here, obviously. But I don't spend a whole lot of time on the street anymore. It's like once you reach 19, I guess that's when you stop. It's like, but when I was on my way here, there was a missus walking further up George Street, and her skirt was that short and that tight that I could tell you what she had for breakfast. For the record, it was an egg white omelette and a whole wheat English muffin, no butter, you know, dry as fuck, probably like her. It is what it is, right? And my day has been eventful. On my way down here, we were stopped at a red light, and I look in the car next to me, and there's a fella going to town on a grapefruit. No spoon. He was just like, ah! And I'm like, how lucky is his missus? Or how lonely is he, you know? One or the other. And like, if you're concerned that you might be a skeet, you probably are. That's just how it works. I had to come to the realization I was raised by a skeet. Mom's a good person, but she's skeety. Right, like I wrote Happy Hump Day on Facebook, and she commented, it sure will be when your father gets home. No, I don't want to see that, you know? And my mom is equal parts Danny DeVito and Roseanne, so... And like a lot of my friends, I'm sure some of you guys too, a lot of people got that story about how they walked in on their parents. Heaven thanks, you know? And I'm like, it never happened to me. And they're like, really? And I'm like, no, it never happened. And they're like, you probably blocked it. I was like, no, there's no way. Because my parents' bedroom door was broken. My entire life, to this day, the door still remains broken. And the only time it closed was when they were having sex. But because it was broken, they had to slam it to get it to close. So it was just like a good solid 45 minutes of and then I'm like, okay, just go. It's that loud. The whole friggin' town of Grand Falls, Windsor know when my parents are gonna have sex at the door. It got to the point where I just screamed out, heave it in or no one's coming near the room! But mom mom, in addition to being a skate, she did her best to bestow all of life's lessons upon me, you know. Like when I was younger, she used to tell me to be careful going out in the cold or the cold would get up through me. I didn't know what it meant, but I feared it. You know, Mom would say it, Nan would say it, next door neighbor Eileen would say it. I was like, Jesus, that cold is something to be worried about. You know, so I'd be sent out to play, and I'd be gone out. I'd have my tights on, and my jogging pants, and my Wonder Bread bags, snowsuit. And I'd be sent on out into the wilds of the back of Windsor to have fun. So then I'd be playing with my friends, and then, you know, when your nose starts to get that little cold right on the tip, I'll be like, all right, boys, I gotta go home. They're like, where are you going? I said, cold's not getting up through me. I was gone. So then this one afternoon, after this big snowfall, we're all out sliding, right? And the boys that I was sliding with decided they wanted to build a ramp in the middle of the hill. Phew, get more height, you know? So I was like, yeah, it's gonna be deadly. So when it was my turn, I'm like, I gotta show these guys up, man. Like, these bread bags are taking me on a trip now. So I'm going down the hill, and I got my arms high in the air, my legs are wide, I'm ready to go down. And then I came upon the ramp. That's when I discovered that the ramp was not a ramp. The ramp was a rock. They just patted snow around it. So I looked down, I'm like, this should hurt, right? But there's no pain registering. And I look down, and there's a hole, cooter to kneecap. I'm torn right open. Snow pants, the bread bags, the jogging pants. Thank God the tights were okay. It's so hard to find good tights. And I'm just like, oh my God. And then I just started screaming at the top of my lungs, the cold! The cold is up through me! That's how I got my first yeast infection. That's enough out of me.